husband's mind, these conspiracy theories have taken root. That this is a man whose judgment has tremendous influence on all of our future, and yet he doesn't have the judgment to recognize how crazy some of these theories are, how basic they are, and he won't listen to people who tell him that, and that in itself is scary.
Right. Folks need to realize the same person that believes these conspiracy theories has got to make the decision whether to trust Kim Jong-un. Charlie Sykes, thank you very much. A quick reminder, tickets are on sale now for the third annual Meet the Press Film Festival in collaboration with my pals at the American Film Institute. Screenings will be throughout Washington this weekend. You may just see a film that ends up winning.
Appreciate you, Deuce, man.
3 nominees a couple years ago.
Yeah, man, I got cut off. Hey, Dale. Yeah, I was just talking about the passion of being a musician, man. Yeah, my signal, I lost my signal, but anyway, I was just saying that whatever music you play, man, do it with passion, you know. And Dale, I know you go way back on music, man, and I enjoyed. I got to get back with you, you know, whenever we can. But I was just saying a couple of I had to speak at a guy's musician appreciation, and I was sharing how, you know, even with the church. What's up, nephew? I see you. A lot of people take it for granted, you know, on both ends. The church sometimes take it for granted on musicians, and then on the other end, musicians take churches for granted. You know, they don't give them their all, they don't give them their best. They come any kind of way, you know. And so I was just saying we got to do better when it comes to this, man. You know, if you know, the scripture said, "Let your yea be yea and let your nay be nay." But you know, if you're gonna do something, do it with all your heart. You know, do it with passion. And that's what I was sharing with my last live. That I'm seeing a lot of guys get in this thing, man, and they come in church trying to treat it like it's a club or you going to a stage act, but the church and the stage are two different things. When you're in the church, you gotta treat it just like it is. It's the church. It's where God resides. And a lot of people don't do that, man. They go in there like it's just another thing, man, you know. And I'm just sharing that if you're gonna do it in God's house, man, you gotta do it in God's house like it's God's house. You can't treat it like you can come in there drunk. You can't treat it like coming in there, you know, any kind of way. And a lot of me, I've seen a lot of musicians do this, man. And yeah, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying, man, it's time to wake up and do right, man. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of kids got to take on this in life. They seeing what we doing, they ain't gonna want to do this. And you know what I'm saying? So let's represent it, man. Let's give back to our youth. Let's try to do this thing right. Yep. Got you, bro. Yeah. You can't bring what you're doing in your everyday life, you know. I don't know what you do at your house, in the car, whatever. But if you're gonna bring weed smoke in the church, man, stop it, man. Don't do that. Cause some people want to be delivered of that. They trying to get off crack. They trying to get off some of these things that we doing, and we think it's just a job to go in there and play. No, sir. No, sir. It's a hospital. It's a hospital. Even for musicians, it's a hospital. It's a hospital for me. The church is a hospital for me. I go to get healed. Just like you go to a doctor to get healed and find out what's going on, you go to the church to get healed. So you being a musician, you are a minister. You're ministering something. So if you're gonna do it for the church, minister, you gotta begin to relate to what you're doing in the church. If you're not relating to that, then you just doing something to go in there. That ain't helping nobody. So I don't just go to church and do that. I come home and I get to know the person I'm going to the church about. I get to know them at home. I do that right here at my house. See, I don't have to wait till I get to church to cry. I can cry at home. But when I play the bass, I can play it with passion when I go to church because I minister at home first. That's what I do at home. And and I was sharing what I was sharing at the musician appreciation was these two guys. I've known them for about 8-9 years now, and they represented well, man. And I told them I didn't mind speaking for them, but I told them, I said, what's got to happen now? The church got to recognize dedication and loyalty. And then musicians got to recognize churches that recognize that. So it's got to go hand in hand. The church got to stop taking advantage of it, and the musicians got to stop taking advantage of it. And that's why I said once that can be brought together as one, musicians begin to be dedicated to what they're doing, and the church recognize they have somebody that have passion, then you will have a better church. You will have a better church. And I just wanted to. I was actually not even gonna do. I wasn't even gonna do this. But somebody the other day told me, encouraged me, said, "Man, won't you get on your live sometimes and some of the things you be talking about, share it." And that's why I was led today to do this. My son was back with me, and I was saying, train him up. I was actually letting my 7-year-old son, back him. And some kind of way, I just got around to this, just working with your youth, bringing them up, training them up. And I showed all his instruments. He have a little guitar around here, and got him a little drum set. So let me show you that right quick. Hold on. I don't even know how to flip the camera around. See, I got him a little drum set right there. Then over here, he got him a little guitar right there. Then over in this corner, he got him a little keyboard right there. And so that's what I'm saying. So I got that going for him. And then I got a couple of basses in my closet. But, letting them grow into that, man. But my thing is, not only that, is that you, Larry? Because I'm waiting on you. Let me see. Is that Larry? That's you. Larry, I'm going to bring you on if that's you. Yeah, I've been waiting on you, man. Yeah, I had lost signal on that last one. I'm going to bring you on in a minute. But like I said, man, yeah, that thing been deep on me since Sunday, man. I just had to share. I witnessed some things this week that I wouldn't. It was hurting my heart to see, even though that ain't nothing new that I ain't saw. But we got to wake up, doc. We can't keep doing this. Whatever we do in this musician field, let's do it from the heart. But if you're gonna do it in the church, man, you can't bring what you do in the streets in the church, man. You can't represent God that way. You can do it, but guess what? It's gonna hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt you in the long run. So it's best, it says best not to make a vow than to make a vow and don't keep that vow. So if you're going to work for God, man, work for him. Yes, you can have a profession outside of church. But see, like I said, a lot of people don't understand me. Let me break me down so you don't get this twisted. Yes. I know you might see me playing certain areas and you wonder how you going to do that. But let me say this. I go do that, but I don't let that get me. But one thing you're going to do, you're going to see me back at my church. I'm not going to miss church because I had to go. make some money, and then I went back to church. The church is the first home for me. And I have a pastor that I cherish. I thank God. And if you got, let me say this, if you have a pastor that's striving to live this thing, you get under that pastor and you be there for that pastor. I'm talking to musicians now. If you have a pastor that's striving to do this thing, be behind that pastor. And don't hog him up, don't worry him to death, but just be behind him and let him know you right there. I done had church after church to try to persuade me to leave. No, sir. God gave me a good one this time. I thank God for him. I thank God for him. But yeah, man. But back to what I was saying. I'm just saying, if you going in church, smelling like alcohol before you go in praise and worship, smelling like weed, no, sir. Not in God's house, man. Don't do that. If you going and playing, and then you turn around and go outside after he start preaching, don't go out there smoking weed and drinking, man. Don't leave the premises and go smoke weed and all that and then come back. Then at the end of service, come back in there and getting on them instruments. No, sir, man. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that, man. That's misrepresenting the house of God, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And I want you to share. I want people to share this. Because musicians, some don't know how it's serious. It's serious what you're doing. Because somebody's wanting to be free from weed. Somebody want to be free from crack. Somebody want to be free from alcohol. Somebody want to be free from adultery. Somebody want to be free. But yet you playing an instrument and then they smell you and they like, well, I'm all right then. If this musician up here representing God like this, then I can stay the way I am. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to say it. Don't do it. You know who you are. Don't do that. Don't misrepresent Christ like that. If you've been doing it, stop doing it. If you're thinking about doing it, don't do it. Please don't do that. I've witnessed that, man, over and over and recently. And it just, here I'm seeing people trying to be free from alcohol and drugs. Then at the end, these people dismissing service, and then the musicians and people around that were in the audience going around praying for folks, smelling like weed. No, sir. Not in God's house. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Yes, I know it takes sometimes, one person longer than another, but if you dealing with that and you playing that instrument, stop doing it until you get free, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please share this for me. That just been on my heart, that if you're going to represent Christ, represent them in the parking lot, represent them at the house, represent them. But my thing is, if you at the church, represent them at the church. Parking lot, on the side of the church. Don't smoke cigarettes on the parking lot. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you own holy grounds. Those are holy grounds. Don't do that. And that's from my heart, man. That's from my heart. And it ain't to bash, ain't to judge. It's just to say, don't do that. When you get on that instrument, I'll use example. I'll use me as an example. It was a time in my life I was playing my bass in church that I was convicted of things that I knew that word was telling me, don't do these things. Yes, so I know sometimes it does take time. I started hearing that word. And I said, I need to get this situation changed before uh, so I can play this bass freely. I got that situation changed, and now I play that bass like none ever. I can play it free because I don't have those things bounding me no more. That's what I mean, y'all. If you're dealing with something, get free from it. Musicians can go up to the altar and get prayer, They can. You can put that bass down. You can get off the drum set. You can get off the keyboard. You can go and ask the pastor to pray for you. You can ask the people at the altar to pray for you. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying, let's do this thing from our heart. Let's do it from our heart. Let's do it from our heart, man. When you play that instrument, play it from your heart. That's all I'm saying. Put passion with what you're doing. If you just up there holding the instrument, put the instrument down, man. If you just saying it's another gig, put it down, man. Go find another place to do that. Don't do it in the house of God, man. Don't do that. But that's all. I if you can share this video, please share this video for me. It's just been a full passion on my heart to say, represent God in the church like you're supposed to, man. Represent God. Practice. But when you hit them grounds, man, make sure you're not doing those things, man. Don't come in there smelling like weed. Don't come in there smelling like cigarette. Don't come in there doing that, man. If the pastor getting ready to pray, you don't need to be smelling like weed over in the corner. Because the weeds, it's loud. It's loud. You don't realize it. It's loud. It's very loud. You ain't even got to tell nobody you was smoking it. It's all over you when you walk back in. So don't do that, man. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please share this video. And I just wanted to get that out. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't say this. And I just know where I was one time. It took the word to tell me that. But yet, I'm able to see that you can do it, man. I did it. I was free from a lot of things. I'm still being free. And trust me, if I feel led to go to get prayer, I put that bass guitar down and I go up there and let them lay hands on me too. And see, one thing you got to admit where you are first. You got to admit where you are. And if you need help with it, go up to them and say, hey, I need prayer, man. I need to get delivered of this. And my pastor talked about being delivered. Some things you got to be delivered of, man. Some things are rooted in you from a childhood, or from mother and father or grandparents. It's rooted in you. You got to be delivered of it. But let's do better, man. Let's do better. That's all I'm saying. Let's do better. Churches, let's do better. Musicians, let's do better. Everybody recognize everybody. It said give honor what honor's due, man. So if you got musicians going the extra mile for you, don't hesitate. Don't say they chasing money. Be a blessing to them. If they being a blessing to you, be a blessing to them. Don't wait till they have to ask you. They shouldn't have to ask you. And musicians, let's be better to our churches. Let's cut the grass. Let's tithe. Let's offering. Put the offering in the plate. Don't just be waiting on a check. I'm saying it both ways. It's both ways. If that's your church home, represent your church home. Be a blessing to them. See what they lacking in. Get in there and help. That's all I want to pour out. That we got to do better. Represent our church front, man. Represent our church, man. If you represent your church, you're doing your job, man. I'd have had musicians after musicians. I'd have had churches after churches ask me to do this, do that, and I don't mind. But when they ask me where I am, I proudly tell them I'm at Ted Chapman, First Missionary Baptist Church, Mumford, Alabama. Have no problem with saying it. And I thank God for him being who he is. And I always lift him up. Get close to your pastor. Get close to the ministry. Find out what's going on. Don't just do it just to be a musician in the corner, man. Don't do that. Find out what's lacking in the church, man. Let's get it. But somebody will get this, man. Somebody will get it. But I hear Daniel Ford, a lot of them. Man, I appreciate them, man. Dion Doles, appreciate y'all. Because y'all are our future, man. Y'all represent, man. Even in the wear, they be talking about what you wear in church and stuff. And I'm just going past that. It's not only what you wear, it's what you bring, the smells and the alcohol, all that is what you represent. You can't do that stuff, man. You can do that at the club and all that other stuff, but don't do that at the church, man. Please don't do that at church. Don't go outside smoking weed and drinking and smoking and then come back in there and this pastor or people praying for folks, then they got to smell you like that, man. Don't do that. Don't represent that. Don't do that, man. Please don't do that. If you know somebody, man, share this video, man. I want this to be shared, man. Because this is my heart speaking to the heart that musicians begin to stop. We stop doing these things, man. We represent, if we're going in church, represent church. Don't do that in the parking lot. Don't do it in front of the church. Don't do it on the side of the church. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. And you need to be in there when he preaching to hear what God has for you. One thing I be wanting that word, man. Because I want to know what I'm lacking in and I can come up on and do better in. So that's why I said I don't mind getting on here telling people that, yes, I want us to do better as musicians. I want us to do better. And the only way we're going to do better is you got to start at home first. You got to do better at home, man. Work on not doing these things. Work on not coming to church to go outside and to stand on the corner and do this and do that and then come back in there while he praying. And then you walk around the people trying to get freed from things and you smelling like what they're trying to get freed from. And they just saw you playing an instrument or they saw you singing something to God. Come on, man. That's confusing them, man. Then they say, well, I'm good if the musicians and even the preachers, if the preachers doing it. We got to stop doing this, man. We got to stop doing it. Stop doing this. If you're thinking about doing it, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop going out church, getting in the car, smoking weed, drinking, standing on the side of the church. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do it. God is not pleased with us doing that, man. I'm going to keep saying it till somebody here. Don't go outside while he preaching, while they in the midst of delivering, while they in the midst of healing. Don't go outside doing that. Don't smell like cigarettes. Don't be smelling like alcohol. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do that. If you're going to represent Christ, represent him. Please don't do that. God is not pleased with us doing stuff like that, man. And I'm serious. I want this shared. Share it much as you can. Musicians, churches. This is for churches and musicians. I want the church to recognize loyalty, dedication. And I want musicians to recognize a church that recognizes you. And stop treating a church as a gig. It's not a gig. If you have a home church, represent your home church. Be dedicated. Be loyal. Do it to them, man. If you see a area lacking, like I'm not a singer, but guess what? I have a mic just in case I need to sing background while I'm playing the bass. You have to do it, man. And I ain't looking for an extra check for that. God is developing something in you. But I just know that if somebody's trying to be free, I don't have time to go outside and get drunk or smoking weed. And they're trying to get free from what I'm doing. And they just saw me praising God or playing the bass or playing the keyboard or playing the drums. And now, after church, I'm mingling in with them smelling like this stuff. And then the person up there trying to get free, confused. Now, I'm trying to get free from this, but I just saw him over in the corner playing the bass. Don't do that, man. Don't do it. It has its place. Don't do it there. Don't do it. Find another profession, man. Don't do it at the church, man. Because those are holy ground. We got to treat them just like they are. They're holy ground. And I don't mind saying it. Ain't nobody saying it no more. Pastors got to say, we standing on holy grounds. And we got to treat it just like that. Sacred. The parking lot sacred. The side of the church sacred. The bathroom sacred. So don't do those things, man. If you've been doing them, stop doing them. If you're thinking about doing them, don't do it. You know somebody doing it, man, tell them to cut that out, man. Because I witnessed that this week. But people were trying to get free from these things. And then at the end of service, you got people coming in smelling like this, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't stand in front of the church. Don't do that. That's misrepresenting Christ, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't misrepresent Christ. And I want to start with me. I'll start with me, Doc. I ain't got a problem with it. And it's just long overdue. It's long overdue to be said. You know somebody doing it at your church, tell them to stop doing it. If they're on the instrument, tell them to get off the instrument till they get free, man. Don't do that. Go to that altar till you get it up out you. God don't want no musicians doing that. He don't want us doing that. We got to play freely. We got to be sensitive to the spirit. And you can't do it if you got alcohol and weed and drugs and you can't do it. So don't do that. Don't do it, man. And this is just love. This is all this is love, man. Ain't to bash you, it's just to tell you the truth, man. Ain't nobody saying that. I'm gonna say it. We can't do that. We can't represent Christ like that. Yes, everybody have their hang-ups. But when you in that corner, wherever you're playing your instrument, you got to be sound. Your mind got to be free. You might have went through something at home, but I tell everybody that play those instruments, take it out on your instrument, and God will free you. It's been times, I'll say it again, it's been time, right now, been off work since June 29th of last year. And don't know how I'm going to make it, but I know my Redeemer live. I know that much. And look, I'm not going to skip a day. I don't care how tired, I don't care how my body's in pain. I'm going to make it to church. I'm going to get in that corner and I'm going to represent Christ. I'm going to love him because he loved me. He gave me the strength to get on here and tell everybody, all musicians, all pastors, to start speaking up. Don't spare. Don't spare. Tell them you do not represent Christ in the church with weed in your system and alcohol. Talking about you worshiping the Lord. You can't do it. You cannot do that. He is not going to let you do it. And you can keep doing it. But guess what? It's all going to be in vain. So let's do it for real, y'all. If you're going to do it in the church, do it in the church. If you need help, get help. Don't go like you free. You're not free if you're still doing it. Tell somebody to pray with me until I get free from this. Pray with me till I get free from this so God can use me mightily. He want to use you, you know. If you're on the keyboard, if you singing praise and worship, if you on that guitar, if you on that bass, if you on the drums, he want to use you mightily. But he can't do it if you got those things in your system. You got to get them out. Got to get them out. I don't care where I go. I don't care where you see me playing at. They can offer me a drink. No, sir. I don't need one. I don't need it. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. You still can represent Christ. A lot of people have a question where I'm playing, but guess what? I don't let that get in my system. No, sir. No, sir. I'm still representing. And that's why I keep saying we got to do it, man. We got to make this thing concrete. We got to make it genuine. And I share this, I say this in love that let's represent Christ for real. Yes, everybody have struggles. You have struggle with this, that. But work on getting delivered from those struggles, man, because it's going to misrepresent Christ if you don't. Especially if it's something loudly out where they can see you doing it. And then you get on the instrument. Are you leading praise and worship? Are you the minister of music? Are you the preacher? Are you the pastor? Whoever. If you doing these things, stop doing them. Because people need us. They need us now. With this economy, with this country going, all this stuff going on, y'all, they got to get the power that God want to give them. And that's the only thing gonna help this country, y'all. We have it, but we just got to get free from these things that'll make people understand that it was in the church where everybody ran to. And it's amazing that when we get in a disaster or something, guess where everybody running to? They're gonna run to the church. But guess what? If you ain't got nothing to give them, that's not gonna keep them. So let's get what we need. When people come to the church, they can leave and have something and get free and live this thing free. Because trust me, I was bound for a long time. But guess what? I'm free now. When you see me playing the bass, trust me, I'm free. God got me. He got me. He convinced me. You know, somebody wanted me to share my testimony on here, man, and I give it to you, man. I was bound. I was for a long time. But guess what? I kept going to church, kept praying, kept trying to get in the midst, because I know in the midst, it's going to rub off if you just hang in there. And see, it's a difference if you're going to get something, man. I ain't talking about that. But if you're going just to be going, just to get another check and just want to go in there and play a couple of notes and then get out of there, no, sir, you're going for the wrong reason. Go to get that word in your system where it can show you how to do this thing through Monday through Sunday. And when you come back to church, you still got some energy to give to somebody else to press them on. Because I'm an encourager, y'all. I encourage people to come. I tell them, even if you're going through, come anyway. Come through. Come on through. Because we're going to sharpen each other. So when you go in there playing them instruments, go in and putting your heart in it. Don't just go to just play a note. Get into the service. You want to see somebody get saved. You want to see somebody get free. You want to see somebody get delivered. That's what this is about. I make it my heart desire to get to church to see someone come and get free. I want somebody to get free. And that should be your desire. That should be your desire. I got you, Larry, man. I've been trying to add you in. Let me add you in, Larry. I got you. I'm doing it now. Larry, send me a request. I appreciate you, Reggie. I see you, man. I appreciate you coming in, Doc. It's been on my heart since Sunday, man, and I've been wanting to. I had to speak at a musician appreciation, and I just saw I saw it on two. I saw this on two ends. I saw it where churches are not recognizing dedication and faithfulness to them. And then I also saw musicians are not recognizing dedication and faithfulness from their church. So I talked on both ends. I said, not only does the church need to recognize, but the musicians need to also recognize a church that, especially if you got a pastor that's really striving to live this thing, man. Dog, it's nothing like having a pastor that's striving to live this thing, man. You want to put your all behind this. When you find a pastor that ain't running around on his wife, on his first lady, and doing these things and living this thing, you get behind him, man. You lift him up. You pray for him. You lift up his wife. You lift up your church, man. That's what I mean by this. If you got a church that you see your pastor is elevating souls, giving back to the youth, pouring into the youth, get behind them, man. Pray for that pastor. Tithe to that pastor. Put your offering in that church, man. Look, you know your pastor working or whatever, ask him, do he need something to eat? Bring it to his job. That's what I mean by this. It's hand in hand. Musicians do it. And you know, I'm going to say this. I didn't say this, but I'm going to say this. The choir, the praise team, and the musicians, they need the fellowship. If you're going to do this in the church, all of y'all need to know each other. I got that in a workshop about 3 or 4 weeks ago from Carnell Davis Jr. We need to go bowling together. Because all that's going to bring about oneness and that power that God needs for us to flow in the service. When the musicians and the choir and the praise team and the youth begin to fellowship. Not just at church, bowling, wherever it is, you know, doing picnics, baseball games, volleyball games, whatever it is. Fellowship more. Let's start fellowshipping more, man. If you're on the praise team, if you're the minister of music, if you're the musicians at the church, learn, exchange numbers, talk to each other, see how each other's doing, see what the other person lacking in. Start doing that, man. That's all this about. That's all this about I'm talking about, man. And if you can, please share this for me. Please share this for me. It'll bless somebody. It's blessing me as I talk about it. It blessed me over and over again. It blessed me Sunday. I talked about this Sunday. And I just, like I said, I feel so much better because I've been wanting to do this, and it just presented itself today. And like I said, I thank God for everybody that heard what I said. But if you know somebody that you see doing these things that I talked about in church, man, please pull them to the side. I ain't trying to bash them. I ain't trying to put them on blast. Pull them to the side, man. Don't do this in God's house, man. Don't do this because somebody's trying to get free from what you're doing, man, in this house. And you come in here smelling like this, man. Don't do this. Don't do this to God, man. Don't misrepresent Christ, man. And if you're doing it, man, stop, man. Don't do that. Because it's a soul. It's a person in the congregation dealing with weed smoking, dealing with crack, dealing with meth, crystal meth. But they see a musician or a minister music or a worshiper up there singing. And then the pastor come up and preach, and then they go to the bathroom and pass one of the musicians, or go outside, go into their car, and they pass the car. It's smelling like weed. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Please hear me. Don't do it. If you've been doing it, stop doing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to Christ, man. Don't do that. Please don't do that. That's all I'm saying. Don't do it, man. Stop smoking cigarettes on the parking lot. Stop smoking weed. Stop drinking. Don't do that on the parking lot, man. Don't do it in the church. Don't do it in the bathroom. Don't come in there smelling like that, man. Don't come into church doing that, man. It's time to pass this on. Don't do that, man.
What do you say to people this time around to argue that Donald Trump's
I got you, Ma. I'm getting you now. I'm trying to. All right, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to add you in now, Ma. I got you. This Joker. This ain't nothing but the devil. I'm trying to add. I was trying to add Larry. I'm trying to. All right, Ma, pop off and pop right back on, and then send me another request. Pop off for a second and pop right back on. Hey, Ma, I see you. Yeah, I was led to talk about some things today that's been, yeah, it's been long overdue to talk about. Just different things I've been seeing going on in the church when it come to, your appearance is everything, and also smelling like weed, smelling like crack, all that stuff. You can't do it. You can't do it in the house of God. Can't do it. Stop. We won't need to smell like smoke. We won't need to smoke cigarettes on the parking lot. Stop doing it. Stop. Yes, everybody got their hang-ups. But if you on that instrument, you got that mic, and you the minister of music, or you the praise leader, and you outside in front of that church, stop. If you the pastor, stop. Stop that. Don't do that. Don't do it. If you the deacon, stop. Anybody up there laying hands on somebody, and they out there in front of the church, or they on the side of the church, and you coming in there smelling like alcohol or weed, stop doing that. Stop it. Because that ain't representing God at all. It ain't. And it's gonna make that witness wrong, man. It's gonna confuse a person that's coming in, a new believer. It's gonna confuse them. A person trying to get free, it's gonna confuse them. They're gonna say, well, the pastor or the minister of music doing it, or the musicians doing it, so it's fine to do. And if all my musicians in my church is able to do that, that means my pastor ain't living there. He ain't living nothing. Because if he was, you wouldn't dare want to come into church smelling like weed. You wouldn't dare want to do that. You wouldn't want to do it. Because your pastor represents Christ. You see Christ in your pastor. So it will convict you to come in that church with anything going on with you. And you get on that instrument. I know. I was at Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. I'll say it. And Pastor Blunt was speaking one night. And he spoke right to me on the bass guitar. And to this day, I always told Pastor Blunt when I saw him, I said, thank you. You just don't know what you did. You blessed me by speaking something that I was dealing with. And I got free that night. And I said, you know what? I'm going to straighten this up. And I tell Pastor Blunt every time I see him, I thank God for the word God gave him that night. And he walked right down my road. But guess what? If I'd have felt like I was fine and came in there ready to play the instrument and get a check and gone on about my business, I wouldn't have heard nothing. So that's why I'm telling you, as a musician, a minister music, get in there and listen at that word, man. It will free whatever you're dealing with. But if you just there to sing, if you just there to play an instrument or just get a check or whatever, and you going outside when he preaching, you messing the flow of service up. You messing up what God really want to do in that church. Because once everybody begin to really take this to the heart, it will go beyond and above. But please share this for me. Please. Please share it. I thank God just giving me the strength, because it was just something on me Sunday. And I said, you know, one day I want to get on my live and say this. Because I've been seeing it for years going on in the church, going on at gospel events, going on at quartet conventions, quartet this, quartet, you singing and singing and singing, ain't singing nothing but lies. You playing and playing the bass guitar, playing the drum, but playing nothing but lies. Stop. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Let's stop, man. Reevaluate. Tear it down, man. Just tear it down. Start over. That's all I'm saying. Let's start over and start over, man. Repent. Go to God. Go to your pastor. Say, hey, man, I've been dealing with these issues. Pray with me that God free me from this. You'll feel so much better knowing that that thing you was dealing with, God freed you from, and he'll give you another boost for just being honest and going on. But yeah, pass that on, man. Share that for me, man. This is to all musicians. This is to all churches. This is to all minister music. This is to all choir members. This is to all praise teams. If you're going to go on the parking lot, represent Christ from the parking lot, inside the church, in the bathroom, in the fellowship hall. Don't go on the side of the church. Don't stand in the front of the church smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, smelling like alcohol. That's all I keep saying. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that, man. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Because it's people really want to be free. It's people can't get delivered while the pastor praying for them, while the prayer warriors going around praying for them, and then after they get free, pass by you and you loaded, you blazed out, but they just saw you playing that instrument or with that microphone, saying thus said the Lord, or praise is what I do. Come on, man. Don't do that, man. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. If it was you, stop doing it, man. If you was thinking about doing it, don't do that, man. If you know somebody doing it, pull them to the side. Say, hey, man, I love you enough to tell you, man. We serve a living God when it come to this. Don't do that at church, man. Don't do that. If you're doing it, stop doing it. Because it's misrepresenting your pastor, it's misrepresenting your church, and ain't nobody going to want to go to your church because they hurting, man. They looking for realness. They looking for people that's striving, man. And you can't have power in your church if you stop doing these things. But it's got to start from the head all the way down, from the pastor all the way down, through the deacons. Let's start, man. It's long overdue for us to get this thing going, man. It's people needing the church to step in because they saying where the church at. They saying where the church. They going on with programs. They going on with this and that. But what the power? What the power at? You can't have it. If you bringing this stuff in the church, man, you bringing it in the church. You can't do it. Leave it. Leave it at the altar, man. I'm at the house right now, and I'm asking God, free me from the things that'll hinder the church from going forward. See, I ain't at church. I'm at home talking about this. It's a constant over and over saying, Lord, free me daily. And I'm free. I feel good because I'm not getting fat off the word and keeping it to myself. I'm passing it on to all my fellow musicians, to all my pastors. I got associate pastors that I talk to. I got choir members and minister music I talk to. I fellowship with a lot of folks. But I'm saying, when you go in that church, when you step on the property, on the parking lot, represent Christ to the fullest, y'all. Stop going over there. If you coming and you done got drunk, man, stop it, man. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't leave the church and go to the store and get you a beer and come back, man, and ready to play the instrument. No, don't do that, man. Stop that, man. Stop it. Well, I'm going to hit my cigarette. Let me hit half of my cigarette, and then I'm going, no, stop that, man. Stop. Stop it. Don't do that, man. Please don't do it. But I thank God for everybody that came on, and I ask you, if you can, if you know somebody, man, please do that for me, man. Let's get this thing going, man. Let us all do this thing together, man, and have more power than God. Hey, His power is, look, unlimited. We can have unlimited power if all of us begin to work on this thing together, man. It's long overdue. Ain't it just about doing another service with the music sounding good? It ain't about that no more. It's about soul winning for Christ, people being free, set free from bondage, from things that they've been struggling with, suicidal thoughts, all that's going on, man. Fights, lesbianism, homosexuality, all that's going on. But we study doing this routine every week. No, sir. It got to stop, man. We got to start doing it, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Please share this for me. And if I can be a help to anybody, man, I'm there, man. And Ma, I tried to add you in, man, and I kept clicking on your face, but it was stuck. So hold on, I'm gonna try one more time, and then yeah, I tried to add you in. Hold on, let me see. Let me try it another way. Yeah, you up in the corner and it won't let me do it. But anyway, Matter of fact, I'm gonna call you when I end this live. I'm finna call you, Ma. I appreciate it. All right, I'm out.